Let's go ahead and go over the basics of some of the Thera characters that are going to be prominent throughout the reading series, just so everyone kind of knows what they're looking at, especially because I can't voice act them the way I would like to, which would distinguish who's who, specifically in terms of gender. So first up, let's just talk about our main character, Hiro Kamado. He is passionate, hot-headed, impulsive, and aggressive. Hiro Kamado is an average 14-year-old going through high school. He doesn't excel in any class in particular and works part-time at a pizzeria, spending all of his spare time watching over his sister, Olivia Kamado, in the hospital. The only friend he hangs out with is Steve Eagle, but after being introduced into the world of Thera, his world changes forever. So, I will say this, this was written long before DZ came along. In hindsight, Hiro is a lot like Akina in terms of character-ish, kind of. So if it seems like I'm copying Akina, it's not. This was written long before Akina was ever at least brought into the public eye. Moving on to Aika Manami, she's calm, compassionate, and stubborn. Aika Manami is 15 years old and is strong in her academics. She is the sister of Shoji Yurei and is caring about all those around her, acting as more of the mom of the friend group. She is kind and hates to see others mistreated, believing that people grow stronger when they work together. This is going to be Aika's main push throughout the series. I don't want to spoil too much without it, but I will say this. I originally did not care much for this aspect of Aika, and suddenly this became my favorite part of Aika at a very specific point in the series. So very fun. Like that a little bit about Aika. She's the more caring part of the people. As for Shoji Yurei, for a lack of a better word, he is the aloof, loner, serious, caring type. Shoji is 16 years old and Aika Manami's adopted older brother, so Aika isn't the adopted one, Shoji is, for the record. He comes from a not so light past and on the outside acts seriously, but internally he is very caring. He is very close with Hayate to the point where the others can't tell if they're actually dating or not. Upon meeting Hiro, the personality he hides under his shadow begins to shine. I say aloof as in he's not necessarily like Toshiki Kai from Vanguard, where he just kind of does his own thing in the background and people like fear and respect him. It's more of on the lines of he's just serious, but he's not necessarily fully interactive with the group, but he's not alone enough to where he's called aloof, so I just called him a loner. As for Hayate Yutaka, she is happy, incredibly outgoing, and a space cadet, personally my favorite of the characters. Hayate Yutaka is 15 years old and is easy to excite. Whatever the group ends up doing, she is most likely the forerunner of it and having a blast the entire time. When it comes to Thera, her joy cannot be beat. She always wants to have a match and gives it everything she has. She gets along with everyone in the group, especially Soji, confusing the others if the two are dating or not. So essentially, they are just very close together, but we don't know if they're dating or not. And then more importantly, she's just that hyper energetic person that really loves the card game that has clearly taken over the world. Kyoshi Mikado. This is the one I would actually call the aloof of the group. He's serious and he's angry. Kyoshi is 16 years old and only has the others as friends, aka outside of Hayate, Shoji, Hiro, and Aika, he doesn't have friends. He doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, it comes out with a sense of seriousness. He is a powerful Thera player, but there always seems to be a hidden anger behind his plays. As the group's Thera skills increase, the reason behind his personality slowly comes to light. This was one of my favorite characters writing the background story for, quote unquote, so I cannot wait for that one to come to light. That is kind of a pun on the fact of the nation he uses, but it's also not meant to be a pun on the fact of the nation he uses. That just happens to be how I worded it, but I really can't wait for you guys to see how Kyoshi pans out. All of these characters at some point I hated. Aika, for some reason, I hated more than everyone else, but as we went through it, I began to like more and more of them, which was fun. As for Victor Minami, he is collected, wise, and caring. Victor Minami is 46 years old and the owner of Card Cosmos, the shop where the main characters hang out at and enjoy each other's company. He is the blood father of Aika Minami and the adoptive father of Shoji Yurei. He spends most of his time managing the shop, but when his kids and their friends end up in trouble, he is more than ready to step in, showing that just because he's old doesn't mean he's weak. The best way to describe Mr. Minami is the mentor character of the anime, where they don't do a lot of fighting, but when duty calls and they have to step in, you kind of wish that they didn't step in because things are about to get real. As for Steve Eagle, so while Hayate is actually my favorite character, Steve feels like this is what I would have been if I was in the anime, and to be fair, I did kind of write Steve a little bit similar to my personality. Steve Eagle is 14 years old, he's indecisive, follower, and jealous, so he's the follower of the group, he's the sheep, and Hiro's best friend. They've been friends since elementary school school and are incredibly close with Hiro to the point where he and Olivia consider Steve family. Steve doesn't care much for the game of Thera, but when Hiro starts spending more time with the others to play the game, Steve becomes jealous and fears that he is losing his best friend. He follows what other people do and is indecisive, but is strategic and has an underlying passion that cannot be extinguished. Steve is a character that I did not expect to be a part of the cast, and I will get more on that as the series progresses, but let's just say I'm really glad that I wrote Steve as a character. Next up, we have Olivia Kamado. She is sassy, she is strong-willed. Olivia Kamado is 8 years old and spends her life in the hospital. Her and Hiro's parents abandoned them at a young age when her life-threatening illness. She has like a heart disease that essentially they can't afford a transplant for it, and they've been on the transplant list forever, but essentially if she doesn't get a new heart, or like goes through a lot of expensive surgery, she will die. So because she was too expensive to take care of, their parents abandoned them. Hiro and Olivia are allowed free admission into the hospital due to the workers' charity. She's friends with Steve and Maya, her main caretaker. Although she is always sassy to Hiro, she deeply cares about him and is happy that he enjoys the game of Thera. And as for Maya, Maya is sassy, stubborn, and caring. Maya is 23 years old and Olivia's caretaker at the hospital. With the permission of the other hospital staff, she allows Olivia and Hiro to stay in the hospital free of charge, with Olivia's constant surgeries only costing Hiro's paycheck from his pizzeria job. So pretty much Hiro pays incredibly less compared to other people to get his sister through surgery, because everyone in this hospital is just really nice. She looks after the Kamado kids as her younger siblings and cares for them deeply. There are many more other characters in the world of Thera and many more that we will see, but as for the first few episodes, these are the main ones I wanted to cover because these are the ones that take the most presence. So go ahead, from the little descriptions that you've got, tell me who your favorite character is, what do you expect from them of the show, and what do you expect more from the show itself. And without further ado, I'm going to end here. I'll see all of you on Wednesday for the first premiere of episode 1, The Red Dragon Rises. See you all then!